Hello everyone, my name is Rifki Fadila and I'm from Institute Transportation and Logistics Trisakti, Jakarta. My student number is 21B 5050 41041 and I'm here to explain more about the international trade in e-commerce that have been taught by Mr. Okin Purba on the fourth semester. Let's check it out. We're going first on the definitions between international trade and e-commerce. International trade is the exchange of goods and services between countries in the world, while e-commerce is the buying and selling of goods and services over the internet. What is the difference and the relationship between the two? The difference between international trade and e-commerce is that international trade involves the physically movement and goods and services, while e-commerce doesn't. The relationship between the two is that e-commerce can facilitate international trade by reaching a wider market, lowering transaction costs, and increasing operational efficiency. There are four basic concepts that related to international trade in e-commerce. First is export. Exports are the sale of goods and services from one country to another, while import is the purchase of goods and services from another country into a country. A global market is a market that covers the entire world, where goods and services can be traded without tariff barriers, quotas, or other regulations. And the last is online transactions are transactions conducted over the internet where buyers and sellers can communicate, make payments, and send information electronically. We're going to the benefits for international trade and e-commerce. International trade can increase a country's economic growth by expanding the market for domestically products, goods, and services. By doing so, the country can increase the scale of production, efficiency, and productivity. International trade can also allow a country to specialize in the production of goods and services for which it has a comparative advantage. For example, the ability to produce something at a relatively lower cost than other countries. Thus, countries can improve the welfare of society by optimally allocating resources. International trade can increase innovation and technology transfers between participating countries as they can learn from each other and share knowledge, ideas, and resources that can improve their ability to produce more sophisticated and quality goods or services. For the concrete examples that support the benefits on the previous slide, countries that engage in international trade tend to have higher economic growth rates than closed countries. For example, according to World Bank data, the average annual per capita GDP growth from 1990 to 2019 was 3.8% for countries with more than 100% trade opens, compared to 1.4% for countries with less than 50% trade opens. Countries that engage in international trade can capitalize on their comparative advantage in various sectors. For example, Indonesia has a comparative advantage in the production of palm oil, coffee, and rubber, while Japan has a comparative advantage in the production of electronics, automotive, and robotics. By engaging in international trade, both countries can exchange goods and services that they produce at lower costs and higher quality. Countries that engage in international trade can access a wider and more diverse market for their goods and services. For example, China can sell its products to more than 200 countries in the world, while the United States can purchase goods from various sources in the world. Thus, both countries can increase their income, reduce their demand fluctuations, and encourage innovation and competition in the global market. The role of e-commerce in international trade is huge. Like, e-commerce is the buying and selling of goods or services over the internet that can be done by individuals, organizations, or countries itself. E-commerce makes cross-border transactions easier, faster, and cheaper because it does not require intermediaries, transaction costs, or other administrative costs. E-commerce also removes trade barriers such as tariffs, quota, or regulation that can hinder the flow of goods and services between countries. E-commerce has a significant trend and growth in the context of international trade due to increasing consumer demand, technological developments, and regional economic integration. E-commerce provides benefits for businesses such as increased market share, operational efficiency, and product or service innovation. E-commerce also provides benefits to consumers such as ease of access, variety of choice, and competitive prices. And the challenge of international trade is the exchange of goods and services between different countries. International trade can provide benefits to all parties involved, such as increasing efficiency, expanding markets, and improving welfare. However, international trade also faces several challenges, including tariffs or taxes imposed by governments on imported or exported goods. Tariffs can increase the price of goods and reduce the volume of trade. Tariffs can also be used as a protection tool for domestic producers competing with foreign producers. Regulations. Regulations are rules or standards set by governments or international organizations to govern trade. Regulation may include quality requirements, certificate of origins, import quotas, export license, and others. Regulation can increase the cost and time of trade and pose a risk of non-compliance or sanctions. And the third is cultural differences are variations in values, norms, attitudes, behaviors, and preferences between different societies. Cultural differences can affect the demand and supply of goods and services, as well as communication and negotiation between trading actors. Cultural differences can also lead to misunderstandings or conflicts that can damage trade relationships. International e-commerce is the buying and selling of goods and services over the internet between different countries. International e-commerce can provide convenience, speed, and comfort for consumers and sellers and allow access to a wider global market. However, international e-commerce also faces several barriers, including data security is the protection against theft, manipulation, or corruption of data sent or stored over the internet. Data security can be compromised by cyber attacks, computer viruses, hacking, or system failures. Data security can affect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information relating to e-commerce transactions. And consumer trust. Consumer trust is the belief or confidence of consumers in the seller or product offered via the internet. Consumer trust can be influenced by seller reputations, product reviews, warranty, or self-return of goods, customer service, and others. Consumer trust can affect consumer interest and loyalty to e-commerce. To overcome challenge and barrier in international trade and international e-commerce, efforts are needed from various parties such as government, international organizations, businesses, and consumers. Some of the efforts that can be made are encourage trade liberalization through bilateral or multilateral agreements that can reduce or remove tariffs and regulations that impede trade. Examples of trade agreement involving Indonesia are the Asian Free Trade Area or AFTA, Indonesian and Australia Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement or EASEPA, and Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership RCEP. And then for the number two, improve standards and harmonization of trade regulation through cooperation and coordination between governments or international organizations that can facilitate trade. Examples of standards and harmonization of trade regulation applicable in Indonesia are the Asian Single Window or ASW, The World Trade Organization (WTO), Technical Barriers to Trade Agreement, and the Asian Framework Agreement on Mutual Recognition Agreements. And next, improving data security through the use of technologies, protocols, and encryption that can prevent or overcome cyber attacks or system disruptions. Examples of technologies, protocols, and encryption used in international e-commerce are secure sockets layer (SSL), transport layer security (TLS), and advanced encryption standard or AES. And next, increase consumer trust through the provision of information, transparency, and accountability that can demonstrate the credibility and quality of the seller or product. Example of information, transparency, and accountability provided in the international e-commerce are certified logos, star ratings, consumer testimonials, and contact numbers. Digital technologies such as internet, big data, and artificial intelligence have made it easier and faster to communicate transactions and collaborate with business partners around the world. So, digital technologies also enable the collections, analysis, and use of data more accurately and effectively to improve the quality of products, services, and business process. Digital technologies can help reduce production, distribution, and marketing costs by optimizing resources, eliminating geographical barriers, and increasing economies of scale. Digital technologies can open up new opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises to access a wider and more diverse global market and enhance their competitiveness and innovation. However, the development of digital technology also poses risks and challenges, such as cybersecurity issues, personal data protection, intellectual property rights, unfair competition, digital inequality, and uneven socio-economic impacts. Therefore, cooperation and coordination between governments, the private sector, civil society, and international organizations are needed to create a conducive environment for international trade based on digital technology. And then for the study case, international trade and e-commerce are two factors that can improve economic growth, people's welfare, and global competitiveness. Some relevant case examples or studies to support this point are World Bank study on 2016 shows that international trade can increase productivity, innovation, and product diversification in developing countries and reduce poverty and inequality. The McKinsey Global Institute study on 2016 found that e-commerce can create new jobs, expand market access, and improve operational efficiency for small and medium-sized enterprises in various sectors. And for the second study case, the case of Alibaba Group, the world's largest e-commerce company, which has successfully leveraged international trade and e-commerce to connect millions of sellers and buyers in more than 200 countries and regions, and empower SMEs and consumers in China and other developing countries. For the next slide, the strategies. Companies or initiatives that have been successful in leveraging international trade and e-commerce have several strategies that can be used as insights and lessons, including adapting products or services according to the needs and preferences of the local market, as well as complying with applicable regulations and standards in the destination country. For the second, utilize digital technologies such as online platforms, mobile apps, social media, data analytics, and artificial intelligence to improve the quality, availability, and affordability of products or services. And for the last, build networks of cooperation with local partners such as governments, business associations, educational institutions, and civil society organizations to increase trust, credibility, and support for international trade and e-commerce. So that's all from me. I'm going to say thank you so much for listening to my presentation for this course, International Trade and E-commerce. And I'm going to say thank you for Mr. Okin too, that have taught us about international trade and e-commerce. So goodbye.